in a bit, but Onic then. What the hell is wrong with Onic? Both Onics. We'll get to Onic page later, but Onic ID first. Do you think it's a roster issue because of Savero and Lutpi's absence? Or is it the draft? I think most of them, a lot of people have been saying the drafts have been horrible from Adi. I think I agree the drafts have not been too good from Adi, but clearly synergy is also a problem.
Synergy, number one. Number two, execution in performance in game. And number three, then I guess the drafts come into play where I feel like they are not really that comfortable playing in the game, especially the Aurora Cho, right?
Yeah.
That game, I don't see, like, I don't think it's Sans, I don't think it's Skiboy looking at that game or watching that game. But yeah, number one is synergy. I can see, like, sure, you can see the individual, like, performance. Yeah, there's potential, especially the new guys. CW still performing in that gold lane, but there is still just synergy lacking in that team. And the two teams, Alter Ego and RQ, they managed to, for the first time, right? For Nino's.
Yeah, so Alter Ego beat Onic after a 12 lose streak. They've never beaten Onic. Well, they have maybe in the past, but the last 12 times it's been a lost Onic.
It's a different time.
It's a different time. So what do you say? You think Lutpi Savero should come back? Is that the solution to the problem? Because say if it is a synergy problem, then you would usually want to stick to the same roster. But after, so if you guys don't know, Savero and Lutpi have been
weeks?
They have been suspended for 4 matches. It's I think
there.
week three though. I think they only play one time next week. Yeah, they only play one time next week. So week 3, the match against BTR, that's when Savera and Lutpi can come back. So if you are having synergy issues, I wonder what do you think now? Do they stick to this Res CW lineup, or do they still later on go back to the Lutpi Savera lineup despite, you know, already building chemistry with Res CW and then resetting it all over again for Savera Lutpi?
I think they should just stick to their initial plan, right? But
Okay.
I believe their initial plan was Lutpi and Savero,
Yeah.
which I'm sure they're still practicing on end scrims with that lineup mainly. And so I believe they should just stick with their initial plan, you know. Adi, I still believe in you. Trust your gut.
Yeah, it's week 1. There's still week 3. There's still
Let's chill,
after
let's
week 3
chill.
there'll be a big break, 2-week break. That's for ESL Mobile Masters. So they will have time to re-synergize again, and they did great grand finals last time they were in SPS. Arashi, speaking of Adi and this situation, you know, ex-RQ by the way, right?
Right.
You've had some good times, some bad times with Adi as a coach. What are your thoughts on the current Onic situation, 0-2?
I feel like what Gonie said is fair. Again, it's very early on, and I believe that it's not beyond imagination that some teams would actually experiment, like hardcore experiment in the earlier weeks. Yeah. When it comes to the roster, though, I really do feel like it depends, right? Again, it's a pro esports team. We've seen situations like that before with with subs. If Rez and CW out of nowhere, right? They get better synergy. There's no reason why they'll be like, okay, well, you know, we had a good plan, but now is this better, right? Especially if it turns out they kind of match up well with the rest of the teams as well. That's another factor. But on top of that, I guess this ties into, we talked about the draft earlier. We also talked about the execution. I feel like more than anything, it feels like the game plan is just weird. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did they not go with like a Granger Sicilian?
The Granger Sicilian. I think Granger Sicilian was Bigatron, but I do believe Sans also did play the Sicilian with the Granger with CW. Yes,
so I recall
against RQ Toy with
I think
Irithel.
so my point is, I recall them having a game plan that requires late game, and they were just not doing any late game stuff. So they weren't really focusing hard on farming. They were taking a lot of fights, right? They were matching the rotations instead of trading. And maybe it stems from the draft, or maybe it stems from the execution. But it felt like when they were in the game, the plan, the idea, right, what they wanted to do in that particular game just wasn't really thought out well. And that's why it felt like against a lot of the other teams as well, it's not necessarily that the players are just doing so much better than Onyx players, right? From Alter Ego, from RRQ. It really felt like Onic overall, they were just doing weird things, and they weren't really moving together either. So maybe that's where the synergy issue comes in, right? It really felt like, oh, the good synergy and the good comms is something we talked about a lot on desk.
That was spot on, right? Like, I think a lot of the issues from even Adi's draft would be because maybe they're not comfortable playing the normal style of MLBB. Maybe they haven't been scrimming. Maybe it's been Savero and Lutpi in scrims as well. And we did get to, talk to Yeb just a bit. And he was like, yeah, I mean, it's chill. It's week 1, firstly. And we have the suspension thing that we have to deal with. So they're not in any... It doesn't look like they're stressed. It doesn't look like they're pressured. It's still Onic. They did make it to SPS finals, so they're still up there when it comes to power rankings. Even though it might change, I think, after this week. I think definitely it'll change. I think we're going to have Onic a bit lower. But what do you guys think about Onic's situation right now? Do you think it's the draft? Do you think it's the performance?